So we were talking about I think my video stopped, but that's fine. So before the video stopped, we were talking about process one account. So I showed you how to come up with the inputs, and we said inputs, it is units is 200,000, cost is 0. For material, units is 250, cost is 1250. For labor, units is 200,000, 850. For overheads, 190 and 950, in that order. Now, hey, what about normal loss? Now, in this case, the normal loss was 0 units. So we had 0 units in the losses, meaning there was no losses. So even if you take 0 times the cost per loss, it will still be 0. So in this case, because it is 0 units, then the final figure will be 0. Same to abnormal amount losses. In this case, gain or loss was 0. So in that case, the units is 0, and the amount is also 0. The amount is also 0. Then value of closing work in progress. So remember this one is the closing effective units of the closing work in progress. So we use this one to value. So we use this one to value the closing work in progress. Now in this case, the first unit is 100,000. You multiply with the cost per unit of the input. So remember 100,000 is for input. So the first inputs, so the first unit for closing work in progress is 100,000 for inputs, and there the cost per unit is 0. So 100,000 times 0 plus the next one for material is 100,000, which goes with cost per unit for material, which is 5. So 100,000 times 5. Then 50 for labor goes with 4.25. So 50 times 4.25. Then 40, the last one is for overhead, 40. You multiply it by 5. So when you multiply it, you shall get 912,500. And then for you to get the total units for the closing work in progress, you add 100 plus 100 plus 50 plus 40 to give you to 90,000. Then you also need output. Now output, you take the computer units, which is 150,000. You multiply with what? You multiply with total cost, which is 14.25. That is it. So 150,000 times 14.25. That is 21, 37, 500. So output, so 21, 37, 500. Then so remember it's 150. Remember units is 150,000. Units is 150,000. So let us balance this account. Let us try and balance that account. So we say 1250 plus 850 plus 950. So I'm getting 3050. So 3050, then 912 500 plus 21 37 500. So 50,000. 50,000. What about units? Let us see 150 plus 290. How many units? This one is for 40,000 units. What about the other one? Let's see 250 plus 250 plus 200 plus 190. This one is 890. So how much is remaining for us for ours to balance? So this one we have made this one output. This one we have made a mistake. You add the total here. So 150 plus 150 plus 150 plus 150. So 150 times 4, that is 600. This is supposed to be 600,000. So that will be 890. And that's how you do the average cost method. That's how you do the average cost method. And this is the formula. So you need to remember this formula. Total effective units is equal to complete units plus effective units of closing work in progress plus abnormal loss account. Then you prepare the statement of equivalent units, the statement of cost, then the process account. So let us go to FIFO method. So that's the average method. So I think you can go now to FIFO method. FIFO method. So let's go to FIFO. FIFO method. So for FIFO method, let's go to May 2021. For FIFO method, let's go to May 2021, question number 4. May 2021, question number 4. Keep subscribing to my channel. So keep subscribing to my channel. And then my contact number, you can see it there, you can contact me. Now let us see the FIFO method. Let us see what is required for FIFO method. Then we call it a class. So let us go to May 2021. May 2021, question number 4. So let us see the May 2021 question paper. May 2021, question number 4. So May 2021, question number 4 is our next question. And this one will be specifically for FIFO method. FIFO method. So FIFO method. FIFO method. So let us see. The question reads, this is what the question reads. The following information is available for process 2 of Williams Fabrication Ltd for the month of September 2020. Opening stock 4800 units, valued at 165 with their degree of completion. Then additional cost for process 2, we have them there. The material scrapped is 2400 units with their degree of completion. Closing stock was 5500 with a degree of completion as follows. Transfer to process 3 amounted to 27600. Normal loss in this case is 10%. The scrap value is sold at 10 shillings per unit. Number 1, statement of equivalent units. But before we come up with the statement of equivalent units, we need to come up with equivalent units, the production units, sorry. We need to come up with the production units. Now, which process are we preparing? Now, we are preparing process 2. So, meaning, let's start with the opening stock. So, production units. We start with the production units. Production units. So, we start with the opening work in progress. So, opening work in progress. Now we add. Now because we are preparing process 2. So remember, because we are preparing process 2, we add transfers from process 1. So add transfers from process 1. Then we less closing work in progress. So that's how the opening stock. So opening stock is in information, the first information. The following information is what, blah blah blah. So 4,800 units. 4,800. Then add transfers from process 1. Now transfers from process 1 amounted to 3,600 units. So 3,600. And then we are supposed to less closing stock. Closing stock is information number 4, 5,400. 5,400. So that we can get production units. Production units. So how much would that be? Production units. So 4,800 plus 3,600 minus 400. That is 30,000. I'm getting 30,000 units. Then you can compute normal loss. Normal loss units, which is, so that is information number 6, 10%. 10% times 30,000. So 0.1 times 30,000. That is 3,000. So once we have that one, we can compute expected production. And we said it is the productions with less normal loss units. So production minus the normal loss units, which is minus 3,000, which is 27,000. Now next we compare compute abnormal gain or loss. So we compare expected production with actual production. Our output. So which process are we preparing? Now we are preparing process 2. So we check the output for process 2. So what is the output for process 2? Now information number 5. Transfer to process 3 is 27,600. That one is the output for process 2. 27,600. When we deduct, we get a negative figure, and that one is abnormal loss. Abnormal loss. So you compare the two. So let me confirm 27,000 minus 27,600. So minus 600, yes. 27,000 minus 27,600. So I'm getting that one correct figure. Yes, it's minus 600. So the minus 600 in this case is the abnormal. No, it's supposed to be abnormal gain, not loss. It's supposed to be abnormal gain. This one is gain. If you find a negative, is gain, sorry. So where expected is less than actual, then it's a gain. So where expected is less than actual, it's a gain. So that is abnormal gain. But if you are expected is more than actual, it is a loss. So in this case it's a gain. In this case it is a gain. Now another way to confirm the gain, you can also compare, or you can compare the normal loss units, which is the 3,000, with actual loss. So what's our actual loss from the equation? Not actual loss, sorry, you compare not with the actual loss, you compare with the scrapped units. So this is another way to compute that's another way to compute abnormal gain or loss. So you compare with scrap units. And in our case, our scrap units is information number what? Scrap units, where is it? Information number 3, 2,400. then the difference is 600. So that will give you abnormal gain. So when normal loss units is greater than scrapped units, then it's a gain. But when normal loss units is less than scrap units, it's a loss. Now for this one, when expected production is less than actual production, it's a gain. But when expected production is greater than actual, when expected is greater than actual, it's a loss. Just need to remember that. So you just need to remember that. So once we have done with that, now we can come up with the statement of equivalent units. So how do we get the total units? Total effective units. Now we are talking about FIFO. Now the method will change. So let me give you the formula. So you start with the opening, work in progress, completed in previous period, plus closing work in progress, plus abnormal loss if gain you less. Now if gain you do what? If gain you less. So if gain you are supposed to less. So if it's a gain you less. So just a small mistake. I've made a mistake here. Just a small one. Made a small mistake here. Let me correct it before we proceed. Just a small one. So allow me to correct the mistake. So we start with the complete units. Then we less the what? Opening work in progress. Completed in the previous period. Opening work in progress completed in previous period. Also, we add closing work in progress. Then we add abnormal gain. Sorry, abnormal loss. Then we less gain. So if it's a gain, we less. That is it. So let's come up with the table. Statement of equivalent units. Statement of equivalent units. So we have element, then we have inputs, we have labor, we have overhead, and we have material. We have material, supposed to be material, labor, then overheads. So we start with the first one, complete units. Complete units. So we are in process 2. So complete units is this output 27. So 27 600, 27 600, 27 600, and 27 600. Then we go to opening. Opening work in progress. So this is for previous period. Just in that manner. So make sure you just understand this for that manner. Now let us go to the previous period. Let us see the open work. What is our open work in progress and what is the percentage? We have it number 1, 4800. Now input, we said input is always 100%. So input, so open, this one is opening. So not closing, it's opening. So input is always 100% times 4800. Then material, according to information number 1, 70, then 60, 60. So this one is 70% times 4800. Then 60, 60 times 4800. Then 60% times 4800. That is information number 1. That is information number 1. So let us see. This one will be 4800. So 0.7 times 4800, 33, 60 units. Then 60%, 2880. Also this one is 2880. Now after that, we can go to closing work in progress. Work in progress. So what's our closing work in progress from the question? Closing work in progress is information number 4. Then we have their complete level of completion 60 40 40. So 5400. Then 60 40 40. So the first one is always 100%, as I said. You inputs times 5400. Then you get equal 60 40 40. So this one is 60% times 5400. And then 40% times 5400. Also 40% times 5400. How much would that be? So we say this one will be 5400, it will remain the way it is. So 0.6 times 5400, 3240. Then 40%, 2160. Also 2160. That one is fine. Then we go to abnormal. Now we have abnormal gain. So abnormal gain with less. So remember, this one we are supposed to add. This one we are supposed to minus. So and then we have abnormal gain. And in this case we are supposed to minus because it's now it was always 100% inputs. So inputs will always be 100%. So inputs will always be 100%. So how much of 600? Also give us 600. Now the rest we check the scrap. So the rest for inputs, so not for inputs, for the percentage of completion of abnormal gain or abnormal loss goes with the percentage completion of the scrap values. So let's go to the scrap values. We see the percentage. So scrap value, that information number 3. So for material it's also 100% times 600 And then for scrap information number 4, for 3, labor is 70 and the other one is also 70. So 70% times 600, also 70% times 600. So 0.7 times 600. This one is for 20. So when we add them together, when we add and less some of the items, we are going to get the total effective units. So total effective units. So total effective units total effective units and then after that I will also add another column here. Just allow me to add one column that will help us to get the output. So that one column, it will be helpful for output. So that one column will be helpful for getting output. This one. Now I will tell you why I've added this one later. But for now, let's start with inputs 27,600 plus. Now we less. This one is supposed to less minus 4,800 plus 5,400 minus 600. So we are getting 27,600. So that's our total units. We also repeat the same 27,600 minus 3360 plus 3240 minus 600. I'm getting 26,800. Then 27,600 minus 2880 plus 2160 minus 420. I'm getting 26,460. 26,460. Then 27,600 minus 2880 plus 2160 minus 420. 26,460. All hizi kama zinafanana. So I want to add as an extra item here. This one. Now that item, it is what was never completed in the previous period. So I'm going to call it the current period. Current period cost. Current period units, not cost. Current period units. Now for the first one, now for the current period units, it goes hand in hand with this one, the opening. So the opening will for previous and for the current. So you check previous and you check the current. In our previous illustration for average cost, this one was not in consideration. So remember this one, tukifanya swali yetu previously ya average cost haiko, but for FIFO method, this one must be there. Now, if previous we completed 100%, how much did we remain with not completed? So if we did 100%, meaning 0 was not completed, so 0% times the amount, which is 4,800. So itakuwa 0. Now if we completed 70 in our previous period, what remained in the current period? It is 30. So 30% times 4,800. And then 60, if 60 was complete, how much remained? 40. And then also 40. So you check the previous with the current period. So you check previous with the current period. So how much would that be? So 0.3 times 4800, that is 1440. I have 40%, 1920, also 1920. So that is it. So that is the statement of equivalent units for FIFO method. So that is the statement of equivalent units for FIFO method. Let us see the statement of cost. Statement of cost. So I'm going to remove this part. So statement of cost. So as usual, we start with the element of cost. So we have material, we have inputs. We always start with inputs. Then material, then labor, then overheads. So we start with the total cost, then total units, then cost per unit.